This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Very warm welcome to the show. Even as newsmakers go to bed, we keep the issues awake, bringing to you a half-hour capsule of the events and developments that matter. We bring you news tonight. In the big development, TRAI is training its guns at the alleged beneficiaries of the Spectrum scam. Telecom majors are bracing for impact. This even as the Supreme Court points a finger at the PMO. And back in the state, the DMDK is gearing up for the polls. Captain Vijaykanth is steadying the ship to sail right into Salem. Our senior correspondent Peer Mohammed will tell us more about the show of strength rally that is expected in January. And sports lovers had a lot to watch out for today. Our sports reporter Natasha will pack all the action in the game. Welcome to News Tonight again. I am Ashmit Kumar and I'll take you through the day's biggest developments. Let's take a look at the headlines at this hour. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India recommends the cancellation of 69 telecom licenses, says basic conditions were not met. Supreme Court demands an affidavit on the Prime Minister's behalf, saying it must know what has been held back. Madras High Court refutes charges of gender bias while recruiting judges. Women Lawyers Association cries foul. Stars and politicians attend the grand DMK wedding in Madurai, a much needed respite from the scam that ousted party man A. Raja.
So for all the 6.5 years, the alliance was going very smoothly, and in the future also we will be going very smooth.
DMDK Chief Vijaykanth is eyeing his day under the sun, plans to showcase political muscle in Salem. And it's a case of NDTV Hindu impact. Corporation Commissioner promises swift action in repairing the rain-battered roads.
There are problems, people can call us in our helpline and we will deploy our people so that the problem can be solved.
Let's also look at some news stories from around the country. Karnataka Chief Minister Yediyurappa buckled under opposition's pressure, likely to surrender controversial strip of land. Major fire at an office building in Mumbai. The staff had been evacuated. Big Boss to continue airing at 9 p.m. Bombay High Court stays government order to banish the show. Vijay bags another Asian medal at Guangzhou, does India proud in the shootings event. And Chennai Open heartthrob and Spaniard world #1 decides to hang his boots, cites disappointing form and injury as the primary reasons. Now, after A. Raja was handed the pink slip, the shockwaves of the mother of all scams might just claim a few more. As reports and facts surface and dominoes begin to tumble, telecom majors are in for a rude shock. Following the tabling of the CAG report on the 2G spectrum allocation scam, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, otherwise known as TRAI, has recommended the cancellation of 69 telecom licenses. In 34 of these cases, none of the conditions required for 2G licenses to be given were met. Apart from that, the TRAI has also stated that there was a significant delay in the rollout, cited as the main reason for the cancellations. TRAI has trained its guns on Uninor's 8 licenses. Swan, earlier known as Etisalat, also stands to have 2 licenses cancelled straight away, with 13 others under consideration. TRAI has also recommended 14 licenses of Loop and 10 of Videocon to be cancelled. Now, post Raja's exit, the domino effect is becoming increasingly visible. The DMK man's handiwork might just spell doom for the stakeholders. Now, first up, the Supreme Court has launched a fresh barrage of criticisms aimed at the government, and the Prime Minister finds himself in the line of fire. The Apex Court has demanded an affidavit on behalf of the Prime Minister explaining why the request for prosecution of former Telecom Minister A. Raja was put on the back burner for almost a year. In November 2008, former Law Minister and Janata Party President Subramaniam Swamy wrote to the Prime Minister asking Raja to be prosecuted. The government finally responded in March 2010, declining the request, citing the ongoing CBI investigations. The affidavit demanded by the Supreme Court has to be filed by Friday. Earlier this week, the Apex Court had remarked, while referring to the Prime Minister, that alleged inaction and silence was indeed worrying. Janata Party Chief Subramaniam Swamy added to that, and that said that the government was stretching facts and the response was not substantive.
Solicitor General Gopal Subramaniam claimed that he had been through the record and came to the conclusion that every letter communication of mine was replied to by the Prime Minister. I intervened to say that the Prime Minister, as far as the sanction is concerned, has only once communicated me through his Department of Personnel that it is premature to give me sanction. As far as acknowledgement letters are concerned, I don't take them seriously. And if there's any other document I have got not through him, but otherwise, that also is not to be taken seriously. As far as the Prime Minister is concerned, he did not reply substantively to any letter of mine from 29th of November 2008. And I have written 5 times to him, each time sending him an additional document which came into my possession. Only thing I know is that Mr. Raja wrote me a letter saying that the Prime Minister has forwarded my petition for sanction to him and he wants to reply. Now, under the Supreme Court judgments, that is totally illegal. The Prime Minister cannot send my petition to the person who is an accused in my petition. He has to only decide whether to allow me to go to court or not to go to court. And it's in the court that Mr. Raja can reply. So, the only other communication I have besides the March 19th letter was the letter of Mr. Raja, which came in December 2009.
Well, criticisms and allegations raining down there, but despite the Supreme Court directives, there might be some legal respite for the Prime Minister. In an exclusive interview to NDTV, the Solicitor General Gopal Subramaniam spoke to our Chief Legal Correspondent Vaidyanathan and defended the Prime Minister.
We are joined by Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, Solicitor General of India, to speak on this case. Sir, today court said that somebody from Prime Minister, on behalf of the Prime Minister, should file an affidavit. So is it unprecedented, sir?
No. This is on behalf of the Prime Minister's office that somebody must be authorized to file an affidavit. And the purpose of the affidavit is to set out all the facts in relation to how each communication of Dr. Subramaniam Swamy was dealt with meticulously. And this is completely in order. And it is only to put on record how each communication has been dealt with, and it's been dealt with very carefully.
But Swamy has denied that only one letter substantive reply from the DOPT on March 2010. There are no other letters, only acknowledgements that can't be taken into account as replies from the Prime Minister.
We have to argue this matter in court. As far as there are 2 aspects. One is, of course, how each matter has been responded to internally. That's important. That is something which I think will have to be presented before the court. It's for the court to judge it. I must also tell you the point which was being made today in the court was that one of the letters which was written by the minister was not disclosed by the petitioner, but that's a point again which has to be presented.
And some news from the city. The Madras High Court today denied charges of gender bias in the recruitment process of district judges. Replying to a petition alleging gender bias and nepotism in the recruitment process for 17 district judges, the Registrar General of Madras High Court said that there was no such bias in the selection process. Denying allegations that the 30% reservation for women was not followed in the interview phase of the process, the Registrar General claimed that no rules were flouted in the process. During the hearing of the petition today, the judges reserved the orders in the case. But members of Women Lawyers Association in the Madras High Court maintained that there was a gender bias in the process of selection of district judges.
I would say that in the result of 103 candidates called for the interview, only 5 are women. So these 103 candidates have been called for interview for the post of district judges to fill up 17 posts. So 8:1 is the ratio. The same should have been adopted even in women candidates also, because we have been given 30% reservation. That 30% reservation for women is not given up in the High Court appointments. But in the subordinate judiciary, we have got that. That was also shown in the advertisement given for the post.
Now, DMDK Chief Vijay Kant today asked his party cadres to get ready for a rally at Salem in January. Now, in an attempt to showcase his strength ahead of 2011 Assembly elections, his announcement came after his categorical statement that he would opt for a non-DMK alliance in the upcoming Assembly polls. He accused the DMK regime of having failed on several fronts, including law and order situation and employment generation. He said freebies would not address poverty issue in the state. He profusely thanked the party cadres for keeping the party in the reckoning during the last 5 years. He asked the cadres to prepare for a successful rally at Salem in January. Right, for more on that, let's go across to our senior correspondent Peer Mohammed, who's joining us live from the newsroom. Now, Peer, what would be the game plan of Vijay Kant, again, before the Assembly elections in 2011, while heading into Salem in January?
Yes, the other opposition party, particularly the main opposition, ADMK, has already conducted 3 rallies ahead of the Assembly elections, so that they can prove to the Congress and other parties that they have good strength. And now the DMDK chief has chosen January, particularly because he has not yet decided on the ally, and also to prove that with his 10% of vote share in the state politics, he wants to bring a big crowd. That is why he has chosen Salem, and particularly the western belt, where he has very good strength. He has chosen Salem. Also January, by that time the alignment will be very clear, whether the ADMK and DMDK will come together, or he can make an announcement, official announcement on the alignment also. That is why he seems to have chosen it. And also he has asked the party cadres to make it a turning point in the state politics, and he has already called for the defeat of the DMK in the 2011 Assembly polls, and he will be strengthening his party before that, and he will also make an announcement about his alliance.
Right, Peer. Again, thank you for joining us and again giving us some perspective ahead of, again, DMDK's plan of actually going into Salem for a rally, a big one at that, at least that's what they're claiming, in January. Moving ahead, the stars from Collywood and heavyweights from politics descend on Madurai. Welcome to the big fat Tamil wedding.